Hi there, my name is Amanda, and today's video I'm going to be doing my wrap up for the last couple of months, so the month of February, March, and now April. So I kind of fell behind on doing them. Basically, February, I think I was just way too behind on doing it. Decided to push it back to March. March came along and I forgot to do that and March, and then April came along and I was like, oh, I can just do like a video for like the two wrap-ups and then do April at the end, and now we're May. So I'm combining all three into one video. I am limited in my time, so I'm gonna go through this fairly quickly. I do have my mini laptop here so I can give a rating without having to guess what I gave them. So let's get started. The way that I'm going to be doing this is going by the first book I completed in February and then going to the last book I read in April and like give my ratings and stuff. I don't know if I'll go into details for all of them because like I said, I'm limited for time and I don't think anyone wants to fucking hear my opinions. So, you know, we'll do with how I feel. Let's just say that. Also, sorry if the lighting changes in between now. My camera likes to readjust lighting and the sun is setting. So, yeah. Okay, so the first book I completed in February was The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This is one of the books I had given myself as a challenge to read. I decided to read some contemporary romance novels and a mix of other stuff for the first 2 weeks of February, so the next couple will be those, and this is one that I finished. So the rating I gave this one is a 3.5 stars out of 5. Basically, I did enjoy it. I wasn't expecting to like this like whatsoever. Turns out I really liked it. I think because it wasn't completely a romance story. I mean, there was romance in it, but it really followed Hazel's story, and I really liked Hazel. I absolutely loved Hazel, and I was a bit iffy on Augustus, if I think that's his name, but you know, he was like, he like grew on me to the point where I tolerated him. It was fine. I didn't think the ending was as sad, I think because maybe I knew what happened, but also it just like, ever since he announced it, you were just like, oh, that's what's gonna happen. And I think also Hazel's reaction to it, and her describing how she feels in those last days before he passed and stuff, I think it just also helped better understand grief, but also what it's like to deal with a disease that could potentially just take your life like that. So I think I really liked it. It's definitely one that I'm going to reread at some point. That's how much I enjoyed it. So 3.5 may seem low to some people, but that's good enough for me to like it. I did have a couple problems with it, obviously. Certain things like like how we only girls like a certain type of movie and boys only like a certain type of movie, and like other things like that. But generally the writing was great. I enjoyed it. I was actually, I wasn't necessarily excited to read the next chapter, but I was content with the content that I was reading, so I really enjoyed this. The next one I finished, again, is part of my challenge that I gave myself, which is another contemporary novel, so that is Paper Towns by John Green. I basically read the last two John Green books that I owned. My rating for this was a 2.5. Generally, I had no problems with this. It wasn't necessarily problematic like the other books were that I've read, or I was reading this at the same time as The Fault in Our Stars, so maybe that's a good thing because I think I enjoyed it as well. The characters were a lot more different than the last two books that I read. I think like he did develop some character personalities in his characters, and weirdly enough, I always preferred the female characters in his books, and yet in this one I actually prefer the male character in this one. But basically, I thought this was going to be completely different. The beginning really intrigued me because it sounded like a mystery, and it did have a mystery element, but it didn't at least keep me interested the entire time. I think this book could have been cut down like even another 100 pages and it would have been even great, I would say. I did really like the finality of it. I did like some moments of them, like the group of friends hanging out, and you can see how some people joined the group, how some people treated others, and there was just some random moments where I was just like, that's not necessary. So I was a little bit iffy. Dragged on for too long, although it wasn't problematic with the characters. I did enjoy the characters in this one. It just wasn't for me. I mean, this could have been so much better, in my opinion, if they had gone a different way, but yeah, I'm gonna be, this is not one I'm even going to be rereading, because my god, I could not reread this again. The next book I finished, again, part of that challenge, and that is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I really love this. I love this so much. I expected to like it because the premise of it really took me in. I feel like that's the thing with contemporary books or even romance. Well, I don't know how I said that, but romance. I think the plot itself has to really grip me to the point where I'm excited to read it before even getting into it, and then I can enjoy it. Like, the only exception I found so far is The Fault in Our Stars, but I feel like those kind of life moments that can be so real really help it because for example, I read My Sister's Keeper, which I didn't think I would enjoy because I read it for school and I was like, whatever, this is like a cancer book, like who cares, it's not anything I care, I was a dumb child. But I really enjoyed it. I never admitted to anybody that I enjoyed it, but I did enjoy it. So again, off topic, but yeah, I really, really like this. I ended up giving this a 4.5 stars out of 5. I don't know why I didn't give it a full 5. Let me just read my review. Oh, right. Okay, so basically in my review, which is good to have on hand, I did find some moments rushed, which is true. I did find some moments that were just unrealistic, like how Laura Jean gets to be with what's his face, their contract that they have. Like, that moment itself was just like, what? Like, that doesn't happen, and that's not cool. You can't just do that to anyone, whether it's a girl or a boy. But also, I didn't like the development of one character, but I think that's not just my opinion. Basically, I did not like the older sister, Margot. I hated her. I did not like her. The beginning, she was okay, kind of, but, you know, she was leaving the country, maybe she was stressed, she just broke up with, you know, her boyfriend and whatnot. But then when she came back, I was just like, you're unnecessarily bitchy, and I don't like you. But that was pretty much it. I did enjoy most of this, which really surprised me because, again, I had read a couple, I think I only read John Green books at this point, so I wasn't, like, you know, super trustworthy with my own feelings, but now I can say that if I really, really like a certain one, I can definitely like it. Just 4 out of 5 stars, that's pretty good. 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next one I finished, I think this was also part of my challenge, but it was more like an intermediate because I was getting kind of stressed about just reading novels, but I read Alice in the Country of Clover, The Cheshire Cat Waltz. This is volume 1, where we have Alice end up with the Cheshire Cat. I ended up giving this a 3 stars. I think I'm just gonna confirm, because, okay, it's been a while since I read the original Alice in the Country of Hearts, so I'm not used to most of the characters' personalities, and also, I've just grown very differently. I feel like a lot of things that they did in this book wasn't necessarily, like, good. Like, there were some parts I was like, back the fuck off, like, this girl says no, it's no, but again, like, I guess I had been far away from manga in a while, because that happens a lot in manga. But I still enjoyed it for what it was. I still want to continue the series. I think I just have to get, like, used to the characters' personalities and, like, manga culture all over again, which shouldn't be too hard to do, but yeah, I love the art, I love the characters still. I just had a couple problems with some of them, which is fine. The next one I finished, again, I think this was also for my challenge that I gave myself, or I think I just ended up finishing this in February anyways, but it is a manga, and it is Kiss and White Lily for My Dearest Girl Volume 2. I ended up giving this a 4 and 5 stars. I believe I gave the original one like a 3 or a 3.5, like the first volume, but I think it's because I'm used to the fact that it's, like, I don't know if it's because I read the first one, and the first one was kind of, like, not what I was expecting it to be, but since I was, like, used to the idea, I think I enjoyed this more, but I also think I enjoyed the characters more. It's a little hard to say, like, story-wise, because there's not much story, it's just about different girls who go to the same school, and, like, every chapter is always about a character that's somehow connected to the last character, and their love story, whether that's they have a crush on someone, whether they're dating someone, whether they broke up with someone, and it's all lesbians, so it's all about girls, and I just think I overall like the characters more, I think I like the stories more, and I didn't really have a problem with some of this stuff. There's only one character who did something which was, like, really weird, but it wasn't, like, as bad as the first book, so I think that's why I give it more. So I'm definitely pumped to read more because I'm really enjoying this so far. Okay. Okay, I have another book that I finished in February, and it's right there. I can see it, but I'm way too lazy to get up and then sit back down, so I'm not gonna do it. But the book I finished was one that I had put myself for the challenge, but, like, halfway through, like, the challenge, or like a week in already, so I didn't finish it on time, but I still finished it for February, and that is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. This, I fucking love this, okay? I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. One that intrigued me, like, it's something called to me, okay? I don't know if it's because there was like a mystery element that was well done, that wasn't like Paper Towns. It was well done. I think it was just so good. There's romance, there's mystery, there was also like slice of life moments where, you know, she goes to a party and things like that. You just get to see interactions of people, and the ending had me gripped. I had no idea how it was gonna end, but I loved it. I know she has another book, I think it's called Love and Luck. I already pre-ordered the paperback, so that'll be coming in like June or July, but I love this so much. I love her writing. Like, I'm forever gonna buy some Jenna Evans Welch books in the future. For sure. I'm really happy I read this. Like, it's probably one of my favorite books of the year. The next one I picked up was really, really cool. It was one, I don't know when I added it to my list, but I finished this late March because of course I didn't complete any books in the beginning of March, but this is Battlespire by Michael R. Miller. I love this. Basically, before I get into my rating, this book is about a boy who gets stuck in a video game, but they also implement like really cool game basics into this. For example, if I can find one. For example, if you found an item or experience, what you usually get in a video game is you get like a pop-up with experience and a little bit of information, as well as like cooldown and stuff like that. And this book has that. Like right here, he picked up a flare gun and he got it. And then when he like tries to get experience points, like that happens, as you can see like right here. This was so cool and so well done. This is apparently the first one in a series, so I hope he writes more, but this is brand new. I think this came out in March when I got it. But yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I really, really liked this. My review doesn't say much because I was just like, I'm too tired to say how much I liked this, but I did. And then the author liked it, so I feel like a piece of shit for having not written anything. But if you're looking for like a video game, like a boy stuck in a video game or a person stuck in a video game, but you want more like video game elements into it, I highly recommend. It is a very girthy book, very thick, and I loved it. So the next book I finished is Catching Fire by Susan Collins. This I was supposed to finish in February and only ended up finishing in March, like March 21st, same day as Battlespire, so yeah. But I ended up giving this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this more than the first one. I think it's because I already read Hunger Games like years ago when I was in high school. We read it for class and then we went to see the movie, so I think that's why I enjoyed it a little more, because I didn't know what was happening, but also this was like my first time reading it. I will say that the writing is a little for both like, the Hunger Games and this one, and also like the characters and stuff, but this was written in what, 2011? Not even, more later than that. I don't know when this was published, but it's still a pretty decent book. I think the dystopian genre is really, I mean, this is what sparked it. So I really like that. I just really like this. I had no idea what to expect, which I think is why I enjoyed this a lot more than I did Hunger Games, but I can't wait to pick up Mockingjay whenever the frick that will be. So the next book I completed, I think this was for a readathon. This was for the Buzzword readathon. I think this is the only book I finished for that readathon, but that is What a Wonderful World by Ino Asano. This is the second and last volume of this series. So basically, this and the first one is basically a bunch of short stories, and you don't know why, but I'm assuming they're all connected somehow, because just the message behind them are very dark and depressing. Some of them can be a little hopeful, but they're always like some sort of dark element into it. And I would say I enjoyed this. I gave this apparently a 4 out of 5 stars, but I maybe would put that down to a 3.5. Maybe, I don't know. I think I just really like the last 2 stories of this because they kind of connect and also give an explanation to basically the entire last 2 novels. I don't think I will be rereading this as much as I did enjoy it. I just not a fan of short stories, and they don't intrigue me enough to do it. I might read it one more time, but more like the first volume, just to see like how it connects to the ending of this one. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. I still highly recommend people to read this. Ino Asano really writes some great stuff. He or she also wrote Goodnight Poon Poon, which is, oh fuck. It's such a weird one, but it's such a good one too. But yeah, that's what I think about that one. So we're getting into the books I read in April, so we're almost done. So the first one I read and finished was Why Didn't They Ask Evans by Agatha Christie. So basically I bought this physically. I think I read 1 or 2 chapters. Or, I think I read a couple of chapters of this, but I wasn't really feeling it. I don't know if it was for the month or just the story itself, and I just decided to pick up the audiobook. It would be a good shot to give to audiobooks because I never tried them, but also it helped me, like, finish this book because I didn't honestly think I was gonna finish this. So I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. The audiobook was fine. I think the narrator was fine. They did a good job. It's just that because it was a girl and she didn't really know how to do different voices, it was like the same characters were constantly talking, and you really had to pay attention. But I would say the mystery part was good. It wasn't great. Like, when we got the reveal, I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting it. Like, I really wasn't expecting it. So I enjoyed it for what it was, and I enjoyed the outcome, but I wasn't, like, blown away by it, and I was just like, I'm glad I read it, but it's definitely not a favorite. It's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. So that's why I gave it a 3 stars. I will be trying some other ones of Agatha Christie, but I might try her more popular one, like And Then There Was None, because I don't know if I'll read all of her books considering what this one was, but yeah, it was okay. The next one I finished is a manga, and that is The Promised Neverland Volume 1. This, I think I was supposed to read this for a readathon, or I just decided to read it. I'm not sure. But I love this. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's exactly what I was hoping it to be. My friends hyped this up, and the world hyped this up to the point where I was excited, but worried it wouldn't be good. But it's just as good as that. I know there's an anime now, so I might watch that, see how traumatized I am. But I've already have volume 2, and I'm going to be pre-ordering and ordering the rest of the volumes, so that's how much I liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. It's hard to describe what this is about, but basically, I guess it follows a girl mostly, this girl here, who, her and a bunch of others are in this orphanage, and basically they're there until they can get adopted out, but not everything turns out the way it seems. That's all I'm gonna say. If you want to know, read it. It's good. The next book I finished is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I had this physically. I think I only read the first chapter physically, and then I ended up finishing it via audiobook. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. It was, again, okay. I really wasn't that into The Great Gatsby to begin with. Like, I just wanted to read it because it's a classic. So I'm happy I read it, but it's really not what I thought it would be. It's a romance mixed in with a bunch of other stuff, and the ending was so sad, and it sucked, which I get why people would like it. But it's just not for me. It's not for me. It's really not. I'm happy I read it. I had this edition for, a couple months, and now I'm just ready to never read it again because it was boring, but okay. Boring, but okay. The next one I finished was near the end of April, and that is Pokemon Adventures Red and Blue. Yes, volume 1. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this. It's nice to give characters more personalities than in the anime and the games. I really liked how they did in the manga. The characters have much more personality. The story is nice. It is for children, so you can't expect much. Also, Pikachu is so sassy in this and moody. Like, he's always pissed at Red, which is the character, and I love it. I wish the original Pikachu in the anime was like that because I so loved it. Basically, I do have one thing to say. The one reason why I didn't give it a 5 out of 5 stars, because, you know, it's Pokemon and I should enjoy it, was because Ekans, at some point, which is the Pokemon, gets cut in half and then dies. Which I did not appreciate, because Pokemons don't, well, I mean, they do die, but not like that. You can't kill them in a Pokefight, but he fucking did. He was cut in half, and then you saw him sizzling on the floor and dying. So I had to. I'm sorry, I was traumatized. No Pokemon's ever died on screen, or on page, or on whatever, and to see that was traumatizing. I'm just warning you right now. I'm letting you know. it's traumatizing. All right, and the last two books, they're not books. One's a manga and one's a comic book. So the before last one I finished is Lucky Star Volume 1. This is by Kagami Yoshimizu. This, I don't remember why I read this. It's too hot for me to remember. But this is a 4-panel manga, so it's very dry and very sarcastic and very, like, blunt, which I loved. I don't think I super loved it. Not because, like, it was bad. I just think there were some parts that I was just like, yeah. And that was it. I think there's also, like, Japanese humor in it, which I'm not, like, super used to. But, yeah, I still enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, so I still very much enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to be picking up more, but I think I preferred the anime more than the manga. I think the delivery of the jokes is just better. But that's it. And finally, the last one that I read in April, almost said May, I'm trying to open it. But that is a comic that is Long Lost by, I have the names here, Matthew Ehrman and Lisa Sturl. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Not because it's bad. It's super good, okay? I can't say super good, but it's very, very short, okay? This is the size of the issue. The pages are thick, so there's like, what, 20 pages, maybe 30 pages? But I did enjoy it because it leaves you on a cliffhanger. It's very creepy, it's very horror-esque, and it just makes me want to read more, but I can't find anywhere to buy this. I think I have to go back to that comic book store that I bought this one from and see if they have, like, the full edition, because the cover on Goodreads is not the cover I have here, so I think it doesn't really count for me to rate it because it's not the full one, but I'm not sure. But this is one I put upside down, but this is one that I finished. And yeah, that is the end of this video. It was a pretty long wrap up, but I did have a couple of months to catch up on, which now I'm happy to do because now next month it'll just be May and it'll be short and it won't be like super dragged on like this was. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope a couple of the books were interesting to hear my opinions on. I know I'm always interested in hearing opinions on books. If any that I read you're now interested in, that's always fun to know. But yeah, if not, you can always give a thumbs up. Just like let me know that you enjoyed this video. You can always subscribe down below. But I understand if you don't want to. I hope you enjoyed, and I will potentially see you in my next video. Bye!